mental health in DFIR, most of the time we default to you're being exposed to CSAM, right?
Hmm.
And that will give you some stress, and that's absolutely true, right? And there's a lot of good resources I think we're going to mention if you're working in CSAM cases
Yeah.
in regards to mental health. But mental health is not only if you're being exposed to CSAM material. You can maybe not be exposed to it and still suffer from the different things, the stressors that Heather mentioned, burnout, and actually you might need some help. And eh, at least in the law enforcement community, getting help, it's hard, not because there's no resources, but there is the unmentioned culture of toughness. If you're in law enforcement, you're a tough gal, a tough guy, and I can deal with it, and I don't want to be seen as weak. And that's not something we do consciously, it's unconsciously, right? The image you want to project as law enforcement officers. So it's really good to talk about these topics, and just because you're not exposed to CSAM does not mean that we don't need to be aware of our mental health in this field.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. The stigma that comes around with it, definitely it's a tough it out
Hmm.
mentality. But I mean, with a supportive environment where individuals can feel comfortable addressing what their challenges might be, and an area where they can prioritize their self-care, it'll everything can be overcome. So, some of the stressors that you may see are on-call demands, unpredictable hours, exposure to that sensitive and or disturbing content that Alex was just talking about, which could include CSAM, but really it could include a lot of different things depending on what types of cases you work.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, I'll just say it here. One of the worst cases that I ever had to work on was actually a suicide. I mean, the CSAM cases are horrible, definitely, but a suicide case where I had to actually watch the entire suicide